My name is Heather Beaty, and I'm the Program Manager for Pick.Click.Give. And today we're going to talk about the next Pick.Click.Give campaign and kind of give you a preview of some of the advertising that you'll be seeing. And so in order to do that, we've invited Amy Guse from MSI Communications, and that's the ad agency that Pick.Click.Give is working with. We worked with them last year as well, and I'm going to turn things over to Amy so she can walk you through what the 2015 campaign is going to look like.
All right. Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for attending. We really appreciate your time. So I'm just going to start jumping in and going through. We're going to start with a little bit of a communications plan overview, and then I'll go through some of the strategies behind some of the new creative and updated looks. There we go. So first is a quick overview, high level of the communications plan. In the executive overview, a few things that we have found is that the success of Pick.Click.Give has continued to grow year after year. The program, this is a program designed to provide sustainable nonprofit funding for the long term with annual giving campaigns. This is designed to strengthen arts, invest in education, shelter a homeless pet, lend a hand. It's those causes that are very near and dear to many Alaskans' hearts. And this, Pick.Click.Give is a very easy, safe way for Alaskans to give to many causes that they care about. So this year for the goals, we have raised the goals just a little bit over last year. Very modest. We'd like to see 3.4 million as a total, where last year it was 2.7, and raising participation from 4.8 up to 5.8 Alaskans this year. We think that these are very doable goals, so we don't foresee any reasons, with everybody's help, why we should not be able to achieve these goals. So challenges, some external factors that we find. There's a retention of donors. There's about a 30% drop-off each year. Some of this could be the transient nature of Alaska as a whole. We do have a large military population that transfers in and out, so that could be part of the factor. We wanted to see a strengthen in the call to action. The nice thing about Pick.Click.Give is the call to action is the name, and it's very recognizable, so that is helpful. And there is a bit of a perception that a lot of money has to be donated to participate, so that minimum of $25 for maybe people, first-time givers, things like that, that was a perception that we found throughout some research. So what we do know is that 60% of Alaskans file for their PFD in January, and actually a lot of that 60%, I believe, and Heather, you could correct me, I think it's 20 or 30% that file within the first week.
Yeah, it's 40% of Alaskans file in the first 2 weeks. So that's really, January is definitely the time when a majority of Alaskans are filing for their PFD.
Perfect. It was that 40% number. I knew that was somewhere. 20% then file in January or in February, and then that additional 20% in March. So this year our goal is to get out in front of that 60% that are filing for their PFD in January. So there are 600,000 that apply online and only 100,000 that apply via paper application. So we're really targeting those 600,000 that apply online. Those who give are skewed a little bit older, but an amazing statistic was 11% of donors are under the age of 18. So that's really promising. And the majority of donors were from our main population bases, Anchorage, Fairbanks, Juneau, the Peninsula, and in the Valley. So our target audiences, of course, our primary audience are those Alaskans filing for their PFDs in those main population centers. But also secondary, our target audience are you nonprofits out there. We really want to have you engaged in our campaign and utilizing any materials that we have out there for your use, because your voices are just, are much bigger and broader than ours. So for the timing, like I mentioned, we'd really like to get out in front of this public, of that first week when people are really filing for those PFDs in early January. So we'd like to see the public campaign launch on December 15th, and that's what we have scheduled. So we'll have a pretty decently heavy media schedule statewide starting on Monday, December 15th. We'll back off a little bit around Christmas, and then we'll really pick it up the day after Christmas through December 31st with some heavy schedules. Campaign will end Tuesday, March 31st at the end of the filing period, and the total campaign length is 20 weeks this year. So a few new strategies that we felt were very important moving into 2014 and into 2015, that we really wanted to feel a much more grassroots campaign style type feeling, a little more boots on the ground. Integration of Love Alaska throughout the entire campaign. There is a lot invested in Love Alaska, so we're trying to find ways to make sure that that theme line is weaved throughout all of our communications. Quick, stronger call to action, that's really just raising the awareness of the Pick.Click.Give name, bringing greater exposure to that Pick.Click.Give brand equity. So one of the things that we're working on doing is freshening the creative, taking the TV and radios down to 15s instead of 30s. This gives us a great opportunity for higher frequency, and we've worked really hard to make sure that the message is still getting across very clearly in that 15 seconds. We are freshening nonprofit tools to make sure that those are available to all of the nonprofits to be able to be involved in this campaign. We'd like to see more volunteers, and then we're going to be seeking quite a few media relations opportunities. And this is another place where we'll be asking the nonprofits to help us be able to feed those stories to the news organizations across the state. So our recommendations this year is, the brand is Pick.Click.Give. It's very well known across the state. There's a 70% recognition of Pick.Click.Give as a brand equity. So we wanted to keep that as a very strong statement. And then the theme is Love Alaska. So we want to strengthen that call to action with a creative approach. And we do have a two-tiered approach where we're going to build and maintain that brand equity, and then incentivize donors is our second tier. So moving into the updated toolkit files, they might not all be available quite yet, but they are being uploaded to the Pick.Click.Give website. So we're going to release multiple tools throughout the 90-day calendar. If we have any events, we will create an evite and make sure that those evites are available for all the nonprofits to easily send out to your communication bases. We may be asking for media relations assistance. We've created a bunch of online icons, some new newsletter artwork, which I'll show you in just a moment, and then social media artwork that all of you are welcome to go onto the toolkit and download anything that's there. We'd also like to have regular e-blast communications with you nonprofits to keep you up to date. If there's anything new, we'll make sure that we send out an e-blast and make sure you have a link to it so it's very easy for your use. This year, one of the things that we did add to our arsenal are we're actually going to have some 4x8 campaign signs that should be up around the state starting December 5th. That is the goal right now. There'll be 25 locations. We've got Fairbanks, Anchorage, the Peninsula, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, and Juneau, I believe, is the other one. So we'll make sure everybody has a list of locations where those will be, just to keep your eye out for those. But we think that that will help with top-of-mind awareness across the state just of the Pick.Click.Give initiative. These are some samples of newsletter artwork. These are 3-inch by 3-inch artwork that's already prepared and ready to go. What we'd like to see is the Double Your Dividend message will actually come out at the beginning of the campaign this year. Like we had mentioned, we want to get out in front of those Alaskans that are filing for their PFD in those first couple of weeks. So we actually will have Double Your Dividend messaging starting December 15th. These are, like I said, 3-inch by 3-inch squares. They can be popped in easily into an e-blast or into your newsletters if you send printed newsletters, or they can be used as posts on Facebook. However you can utilize these, they're already created and ready to go under the toolkits as soon as they are uploaded. So a simple email signature icon, this again is constant top-of-mind awareness for the Pick.Click.Give season. I actually will be using this in my email signature just to help facilitate that top-of-mind awareness to all the emails that I send between now and March 31st. So this is a very helpful thing just in the bottom of an email. So for social media tools and strategy, we will be utilizing paid advertising on social media channels. We'll be doing a search engine marketing campaign, Facebook advertising, combined with sponsored posts as well as ads. We're going to be doing some YouTube advertising again on Pandora. Pandora was very successful for Pick.Click.Give last year, so we felt that that was a strategy that needed to stay in. We just are probably going to boost that up quite a bit this year. We're going to utilize a strong message with an active language in promoted posts. When you're Facebook and Twitter, you want to tell everybody basically what you want them to do. So we don't want them just liking posts for Pick.Click.Give or anything that's Pick.Click.Give related. We really want them to go out and Pick.Click.Give today. So you just tell them, give them something direct. We're thinking about doing some type of profile pick campaign where Facebook users can change their own profile picture to a Pick.Click.Give image after contributing. Sample text, I love Alaska, so I choose the Pick.Click.Give. Promoted posts will be focusing on engagement and conversation, not impressions. What we found, again, is that Pick.Click.Give is so well recognized that what we want people to do is be engaged in the program, not just aware of it. So we'll be changing that language a little bit this year. We may come up with some kind of cool social media challenge, and that would be something that we would be then asking the nonprofits to help us get the word out, and we may even have the nonprofit executive directors be the start of the challenge. So we'll keep you posted on what we plan to do there. But some of it, just to keep everything in algorithms with social media all running together, it would be really helpful if nonprofits, when you're talking about Pick.Click.Give, use these hashtags. Use a Pick.Click.Give hashtag. We have that going. There's also the Love Alaska hashtag. But also pair it with broader reach hashtags, especially Alaska and Donate. Those are really, really highly trending hashtags where people go in quite a bit to search for content, especially that Alaska one. So we would recommend for everybody to try to do that as much as possible. So we've created some new social media artworks. We will have these Facebook cover photos that are already sized and ready to go, as well as the Facebook profile pictures. These can be used in any conjunction, mix them up however you'd like to mix them up. I did some samples here where they were just, everything was a little different. So we've made sure to reverse out the profile pictures from the colors from the cover photos so that they do look really, really nice when they're together on a Facebook page. So for the TV and creative and media, so as I had mentioned, we're going to cut those 30s back to 15s. This will really raise our frequency, gets us out in front of people more. We wanted that strength in the call to action and the relationship of the CG. So we want Love Alaska and Pick.Click.Give to have a very similar weight. That Pick.Click.Give is such a strong call to action. We are actually freshening the music this year, and we're going to use 2 different music beds. They're similar, but just enough different that if somebody heard them back to back, they would hear that it's 2 different commercials. And we also went back to all of the footage that was shot last year, and we've found some new faces that weren't used last year in any of the TV, and we've added those into some of the rough cuts so far. So our messaging is Love Alaska, Pick.Click.Give, Warm Your Heart. We found that this Warm Your Heart message has actually tested very well with Alaskans and actually made them more likely to give. So, if you want to use that messaging in anything, you'll see it quite a bit in our messaging. And we feel like that warm your heart message really ties in well with Love Alaska. So that messaging will be running the full length of the campaign on December 15th through March 31st. The double your dividend, we're running that right from the campaign start. We don't want to take the chance that individuals will go back and revisit their PSD applications, so we want to get out in front of them before they do. So they really think about making sure to click that Pick.Click.Give button before the first time around. And then together we make a difference. We have some concepts around this, but right now the two main messages will be the Love Alaska, Warm Your Heart, and then the Double Your Dividend. And these are some screenshots from the TV. These are three gentlemen that had not been used before. We do have a few ladies in there too. I realized when I put this together I only had men in here, but there are a couple of gals in there that we had not used before. And we've just mixed up the stories, and then you'll see with the CG at the end that Love Alaska and Pick.Click.Give are the same size, just to keep that Pick.Click.Give brand awareness up. So one fun thing that we are going to kick off at the campaign start this year, and this is where we'll really need a lot of help from you nonprofits to push this out. We are creating a social media quiz. If you're on social media at all, these are quizzes very similar to the BuzzFeed quizzes, like what princess are you? Or, there's quite a few of them out there right now. And we are going to do, what's the right nonprofit for your donation, or what type of giver are you? And so we'll have 5 to 7 questions that they'll have images that they can choose. Those images will be weighted, and then at the end of it, they'll get put into one of these categories where they can then go into Pick.Click.Give's website and browse through those nonprofits. So once we have that quiz ready to go, we will definitely be communicating with all of the nonprofits, so you guys can go out there and share it on your Facebook pages, and that just gets our reach out there quite heavily. So, and for my part of the presentation, that was the end.
All right, thank you so much, Amy. We do have some time to answer questions, so if anybody's got a question, please go ahead and type it into the chat field, and we'll be happy to answer those questions. This is Heather from the Pick.Click.Give campaign, and while we're waiting to see if there are any questions, I'll let you know that we're going to work on getting all of these new graphics and logos for your use up online at pickclickgive.org in the Toolkit section, so that you'll be able to right-click, save those, and then put the artwork into your December newsletters and on your website, and get those Facebook profile pictures and cover photos to start using in December. So I think everything should be up online here in the next couple of days. So I've got, let's see, a couple of questions. I'll start going through them. The first one is from Rose, and she's asking how the hashtag works, if that's just a Twitter thing, or if it's also useful on Facebook. And the answer to that is that hashtags really did start out as a feature of Twitter, but hashtags are in use on Facebook as well as Instagram and other social media platforms. So the answer to your question, Rose, is that hashtags are basically a universal thing across social media. They're probably most used and most effective still on Twitter, but you'll see Pick.Click.Give using hashtags on Facebook and Instagram and other platforms, so we encourage you to use them universally. There's a question from Barbara asking if we are soliciting pictures for the survey or if we already have what we need. I'm confused by your question, Barbara. Amy, does that make...
Yeah, I think she might be talking about the Pick.Click.Give quiz that we're going to be doing.
Okay.
And I think you are working on that.
Yeah, the quiz isn't really going to be featuring any particular organizations. It's more a way for people in social media to engage and think about what kinds of causes they connect with. So it'll really be centered around letting people know that what seems to be top of mind for them is humanitarian causes or arts organizations or organizations that help kids or pets. It's just a fun way to get people to use the quiz to think about what kind of giving they like to do, and also think about Pick.Click.Give and share the quiz results online, like you see them sharing quiz results for, you know, what kind of dinosaur are you or which Harry Potter character are you. So this is just a way to tap into that trend and see if we can get a few more people thinking about Pick.Click.Give. Let's see, Tammy is asking about stickers. We had stickers available last year. I have a few left. We haven't ordered more, but if you would like some, you can email me. We're happy to give out what we have in stock, and I can also give you information about where we ordered them from. They were fairly inexpensive. We don't have plans at this time to invest in new stickers. But if that changes, I'll certainly let you know. And like I said, they were fairly inexpensive to produce. So if you want to take any of the artwork that we make available online and have it made into stickers or mugs or whatever makes sense for your organization, we really encourage you to do that. Let's see. I'm trying to read. I've got a small window for reading these questions, so okay, so Gail is asking about the 30% figure. And that's the number of people who we don't retain through Pick.Click.Give year to year. So 60% of the donors in 2014 had also given in 2013. There's about a 30% drop-off each year, which as far as annual giving campaigns go, that's actually a pretty good retention rate to have 70% of your people giving year over year, but we would love to see that get up closer to 80 or 90%. And there's a lot of reasons that people may not be giving through Pick.Click.Give each and every year consistently. Some of those are good reasons. Some of them are reasons like your organization has taken that Pick.Click.Give donor and turned them into an annual or ongoing donor, you know, outside of the Pick.Click.Give platform. Other reasons, like Amy mentioned, are people don't always file consistently for their PFD year to year. They move out of state or go away from Alaska and aren't eligible. So there are good and not so good reasons why we may not have people giving through the program year after year. Let's see, Connie asked a question about when the art will be available. A lot of it is actually posted right now online. Our webmaster got a lot of these online last night. I'm going to be working with him to sort of recategorize the way they're displayed. So that may change in the next couple of days, but you could actually go to pick.click.give.org as soon as this is over and access the art that we have available online. And Tammy, if you're asking about stickers, if you could shoot me an email about it, I would be happy to forward you the contact information for our vendor that we use. And I know there's probably local options available to a lot of us as well, depending on which community you live in. So I'm not seeing any new questions in the chat field. I really hope that we were able to address any questions you had, but if not, please send me an email. My email address is hbeaty, H-B-E-A-T-Y, at pick.click.give.org, or you can give me a call. My number is 249-6616, and I'm happy to answer any more questions you have or put you in touch with Amy if you'd like to talk to her. Bree is asking if we have any thank you donor art available for 2014, and that's a great question. We do not, but we do have all of our logos and other things available if you wanted to use that in your thank yous, which I hope everyone is getting out the door. I've already started receiving thank you cards from the organizations I made Pick.Click.Give donations to. And thanks for bringing that up, Bree. I think that's something that we can definitely add to the toolkit next year that might be helpful. But in the meantime, I think there is plenty of art available that could be used in your thank you cards.